Hello everyone, welcome to the Maureen Bradley Designs YouTube channel. I am Stephanie Reese. I'm the owner, co-owner, and designer for Maureen Bradley Designs. And today I am going to be unboxing the next JJB Beads Magical Mystery Bead Box for the month of March. But first, before we turn the camera down, I keep forgetting to show you what I made from the previous box. This was the Tropical Paradise box for February this year, 2022. And I made these earrings, and I made this necklace with this beautiful flamingo. Let's see if you can get close in to see it. But I just wanted to share what I made. I always forget to try it on. When I turn the camera down, I'll show you the bracelet a little bit closer. But this is the necklace and earrings and bracelet set that I made from the Tropical Paradise box. And I have one other design that I currently have laid out on my table, but I just haven't had a chance to get to it. The time is just flying by on me, which, by the way, happy spring to everyone. I hope that you're having a marvelous, marvelous spring, and it's such a great time for renewal and rebirth, and everything is growing, and it is just so exciting. So anyway, enough about that. Let me turn the camera down, and we will get to unboxing March 2022 JJB Beads Magical Mystery Bead Box. Hang on. Okay, everybody, we're back, and this time we have the camera turned down, and I just wanted to show you before we get started, this is the bracelet I made from the last Magical Mystery Bead Box with the leather pieces in them. I took these seed beads and I stitched a picot stitch around it, and I embellished it with some Austrian crystals and pearls, and then I knotted this this shell piece actually, and I made a little tassel. I combined gold and silver with copper, and that's what I made with the bracelet. So if you don't follow me, I'm also on Instagram, and I'm also on Facebook for Maureen Bradley Designs. So you can see what I'm making there. I have started to make reels with everything that I'm making. And you can follow me there to see other things that I'm making, other finished products. So anyway, at this time, I'd like to show you the insides of the Magical Mystery Bead Box. This one is called Dragonfly Dreamscape for March 2022. So I'm so excited about this. I love the Magical Mystery Bead Box, and what it is a box that is a mystery that comes to you each month. I am a design ambassador for JJB Beads. However, they don't send me this box for free. I am a subscriber, and so each month I do pay to get this box sent to me. I have several subscriptions that I get each month, but this one is by far my favorite. I'll say it again. It is absolutely beautiful each month. Each month is a theme, and you get this little design card with the contents, and it looks like this month there is a spring design challenge, and then all these goodies come inside the box. So it's just a fabulous box that I get each month, and I'm so happy to be sharing it with you. All right, so let's get started. We will start with, so this first thing here, the Dragonfly Make Along kit is here. It looks like it's got sort of a resin piece with a dragonfly on it with lotus blossoms, and it looks like maybe wire and leather. And because this is a make along kit, we will be respectful and we'll wait to see what JJB Beads will be doing with that. So I'm not going to open it now. But if you're interested, go ahead and tune in to JJB Beads site so that you can join along in the make along and see what's being made there. But that's beautiful. I love that color of that resin piece with the dragonfly on it. So next is this Wildflower seed bead mix. It's got some, looks like white pearly seed beads, blue. Oh, I love this purple. Look at that iridescence on the purple. So beautiful. And then looks like a peach. Not quite a full pink, but a peach. It looks like it matches these rose pieces. Aren't those beautiful? All right, love that. And then we have some custom dyed Heishi beads. These are disc beads. These feel like they're polymer clay, and these are awesome for stacking in bracelets or necklaces. Love that. They come in a variety of colors there. That matches the seed bead mix, doesn't it? All right, and this next one is, I believe, nope, that's Dreamy Blooms. I believe the Spring Morning Check Mix is next on the list. And this is so pretty. Look at this. We've got some, this looks like a check horse bead. Beautiful. Some purple clear beads. And then look at these. This is like a lavender purple. And then these drops are incredible. I love the cut on this. And then a couple of opaque white beads here. These look like little white flowers, don't they? And then we have some gray, a little bit of gray check. These are called Cathedral Beads. Absolutely love those. So pretty. Love that purple. And then look at these. These are amazing. I love how they taper down into this accentuated part here of the bead, and that cut down on the bottom. They're a little wider on the bottom, so they're not quite a they're a teardrop, but look how the bottom is more wide. That is really neat. That's gonna make something special. And then some tiny teardrops on that one. All right, that was the Spring Morning Check Mix. And then we have, I said, put in a spool of elastic stretch cord, 1 millimeter, and this is good for a variety of things, right? I mean, I love making stretch bracelets. I've seen this used on sun catchers, so it'll be interesting to see what we can make using the elasticity, excuse me. And then we have the Tiara Cast metal set. Look at this. I love Tiara Cast. A dragonfly button. And these are actually beads. Look at that. Stringing or wire wrapping, and then there's some leaves, some dangle leaves. How beautiful. I love that. This is a wonderful box. And then the next one is this metal assortment right here. And look at all this goodness. Look at these absolutely fabulous rounds. Oh, so many different possibilities. Love this. Look at that's a flat bead with a hole down the middle. And some rondelle silver beads. Oh, these are pretty. They have little flowers on them. And then this, another rondelle silver bead. Great for stacking. And then this beautiful clasp that you can make. And then here's another one, a toggle clasp. And then I think you could probably mix it. These probably go together. These two. It's so pretty with the flower. And then these two go together as I'm looking at it. So pretty, right? And then look at these, and then more flat, hammered, or I like that shine on there. And some spiral beads. Spiral. And then look at this. That's great for a tassel, to make a focal or a pendant. How beautiful. That's a great metal mix. Okay, and the next one we have, oh, some chain reaction. So here's the 2 chain reaction strands that came in the box. So beautiful. There's a silver with this beautiful, it's like a purple blue, cornflower blue is what I think of when I see that blue, and then a cream colored rondelle I love how they vary. So none of the chain reactions seem to be the same. Like this has a long connector piece in it. And then this is a little more short piece. So those two came in the box. That's the chain reaction. And then here is the rose cab and bezel set. So here's this piece. You're going to have to take some glue to set it in there. It fits perfect. But how beautiful that pink, or that peachy pink, and the rose on there. It's a resin piece. So it's flat back and it fits perfect. You'll have to add some E6000 to that. And then we have these beautiful cage rose crystals. These are wonderful. They add so much beauty to our pieces, don't they? And some resin roses. These have a hole on the side. There it is. And these are some wonder beads. I love how those shine. And then it looks like we have 2 bead caps, or it could be spacer rondelles. And then the tiny crystals rondelles. And there is a clasp in here. Oh, baby clasp. Gold. So that is wonderful. I love that. So pretty. That is the rose cab and bezel set. Put that back in there. And then the last thing I'll show you on the list is the Dreamy Blooms Floral Bead Mix. So this is so great. Look at that. All these bellflowers. These are acrylic purple bellflowers. There's some smaller pink in there and blue and yellow. How beautiful are those, right? So many different possibilities. There's some metal bead caps in here. So I can grab it. They look like little flowers. They're so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Here's a smaller one. Some different bead caps in here. Here's another one. Another variety. Like a cone bead cap. And then there are some spacer rondelles. And glass rondelles. And these are a beautiful shape in green. And looks like these little round beads. These have paint splattered on them. These are so cool. I love that. And did we see them all? I think we did. Okay. So this is the Magical Mystery Bead Box for the month of March 2022, called Dragonfly Dreamscape. So as I'm looking at all of this wonderfulness, I do have an idea of something we could make, and I think it might involve a bracelet. So let me go ahead and move this tray out of the way, and I'll bring everything back so that we can work. Hang on just a sec. All right, everyone, so we are back, and I have my workspace here. And so what I was thinking about is, since we have a button in here, I really have a favorite bracelet that I love to make. And I sort of make different variations of it, but I thought it would be fun to use that button. So I brought in my tools. I'm using some needle nose pliers, flat nose pliers, flush cutters, a magical crimper. I also have the 2x2 crimpers, crimp beads. I have some silver soft flex wire, and I also brought in, I have some, these are wire guardians, and maybe some head pins we might need. I brought them just in case. I pulled them, but I think that that's everything we're going to need to make this bracelet, just so you're aware. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out some of the beads. I think I would like to use some of the Heishi beads. I'm really thinking about the Wildflower seed mix. And then some of the different colors here that, oh my gosh, I'm just trying to think how we can make this. So let's see. The first thing I'll start with is typically if I'm not making a bracelet for anyone, I typically will make it for 7.5 inches. That's pretty standard. A lot of times I do have customers that will ask me to modify it, which is perfectly fine. But if I'm just making something to put in our shop, I just put it as a standard 7.5. And then I always give the option for customers to ask, can you make it bigger? Can you make it smaller? Of course. But my wrist tends to be about a 7.5 inch wrist as well. And so I do tend to make for that size, just as a standard. So we'll start with our button. And then one of the things that I do when I'm making something is I kind of do the math first. I start thinking about, okay, I have 7.5 inches, or if you're making a custom bracelet, you have 6 inches. So you always want to, 6 inches, 6.5, 8 inches is pretty typical. So if you're making a custom design, you want to think about the math of what you're doing. So when I'm doing that, I sort of think about my clasp is going to be about 1 inch. So I thought we'd use some of the seed beads and we'd make a clasp. So that will be about 1 inch. And I'll bring my ruler in. So typically, if that's the case, our workspace within the design is going to be about 6.5 inches. So that's how your beads are going to be strung. So that's kind of the anatomy of it. And to kind of keep in mind in the back of your brain when you're making it, that's how long it's going to be. If it's 7.5 inches, we're going to subtract about 1 inch for the clasp, or however big that clasp is. So if it's a bigger clasp, you'll have to measure it. See, this is about 1/2, and then we're going to have about 1/2 inch so that we can get maybe 1/2 inch to 1 inch to get that lasso around. So you're going to be working with anywhere between 6 and 6.5 inches for your actual design space. So that's kind of what I do when I think about when I'm making something. I kind of decide, do I want it to be, like for a necklace, do I want it to be 18 inches? Do I want it to be 20 inches? So you kind of want to have that math in the back of your brain, your mind, when you're making something. So the first thing I'm going to do for this style of bracelet, I'm going to start with the clasp. And I'm also in my mind trying to think, do I want it to be a double? Or do I want it to be a single? And I'm kind of thinking I want it to be double. I like the idea of a double. So I don't want to waste all of my wire. So since my bracelet is going to be a standard 7.5 inches, I know I need that much wire, at least. But then I also have to take into consideration that I have a clasp, right? And I also have to have room to do the crimp. So I usually give it anywhere from 7.5 inches to 10.5 inches so that I don't waste too much wire. I always keep my scraps because I always end up using them for other things or other projects. But I'm thinking that's probably a good starting point that will give me enough room so that I can make the bracelet and have enough room to crimp and feed it through the crimp tubes, right? So since I'm doubling it, I'm going to come in and take another 10.5 inches there. And I feel safe cutting it there. Now I'm going to grab my wire guardian and I only need one. And I'm going to feed it through the little hole. Move my ruler out of the way so you can see. I'm going to feed it through the hole into, and I'm going to come down about halfway to make it even, right? So I'm going to come down and feed it through the other side. If I can see it so I can get it in there. All right. Oops, my wire got a little bit. There we go. I just want to take the kinks out. So there we go. You don't want to have kinked up wire. And then you just want to make sure that your wire is even on both ends. So the reason I'm not taking it all the way up is because once you do that, the wire is it forms very quickly, and it will get that shape and bend on you. So you don't want to pull it through there until you're actually ready, because if you have to move it, it will have that form in there. So I'm going to take one end and feed that end through the button. And you don't necessarily need a wire guardian. This just makes for a really strong bracelet. And I know that over time, this part of the wire is not going to wear because it's going to toggle. It's going to be like a toggle. And it won't bust on me. That will not be a weak point because it's hitting that metal. And well, there'll be friction with it, and it will eventually, it'll wear. So that's what I'm doing. See that? So over time, that friction that is caused will weaken the wire and cause it to, it could cause it to break. This is a pretty strong wire. It's a medium. I'm sorry, this one's a fine because I am using the seed beads. And I also am dragging it through twice. So I did grab a fine. Sorry about that. I thought I grabbed medium. Which is fine too. But since I'm going to be using the seed beads, I had forgotten that I did grab the fine wire. So that's what I did with that. Then I'm going to take a crimp bead, and actually, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to not crimp it there. So, and this is what happens. You're just kind of deciding as you go, because actually I'm going to feed seed beads on, and I want to mix them up, which is one of my other, and I found it's one of my other favorite things to do. I found my seed bead spinner. So this allows you to add seed beads, and I love to mix them up. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to mix them up and hope that I don't get them everywhere. There we go. So there's one going in. Isn't that satisfying? I love it. And then I'll cut the second one. Oh, I just love mixing them. So much fun. So much fun. Okay. And then there's the purple. One got away. I got it though. And then here's that lovely, it's like a peach rose. It's so beautiful. I just love it. It's not quite pink, and it's not quite peach. It's in between. Isn't that wonderful? Jessie James Beads does such an amazing job of curating these boxes. And look at that beautiful color that it makes as you spin this seed bead spinner. I love it. So now it's all mixed up and has all these beautiful, and it's just like a wildflower field, isn't it? It's so fantastic. Okay, so we've got our button with our wire guardian on it, and I'm still trying to decide. It might help to lay some of these out. Let's see. I know I want to use these. I like these. I want to use 2 of those. And I want to use some of the Heishi beads around them. That is speaking to me. So white, yellow, and there's a little gray or black, blue, and then this rosy peach color. Did we get purple? We'll get purple. So there's 7. I'm a big, let's do 3 on each side. How about that? Since we don't have too many gray, I'll take out the gray. And I'm looking for maybe, so we have white, we have peach, we have pink, the peachy pink, blue, and then that. What to do? Okay, I'm gonna take some of that green, and then I like this purple. And we'll use that, and we'll use this, and then in between we'll catch, let's see. And here's the thing too, I don't want to add all of the colors together, so I'll do this, or all of the pinks together or purples together. We want to kind of break it up a little bit, and maybe I'll do this, and we'll add 1 more of these. There we go. To add the green in there, and then let's see, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have 2 left over. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of with this. And I'm thinking I may have to add some of these down here. Let's see, this is kind of what I do so that I can feed them on. That's 4, 5, 6, and I'm just adding them randomly on, okay? That's it, just randomly adding them. And we'll do it on this side. Add a little bit more of our seed beads here. On each side, you're going to be adding 6 beads. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's just random. There's no rhyme or reason to how I'm adding them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just making sure I have everything snug, but not too tight, because we need it to bend, right? And then I'm going to measure again. There, that got us to our 6.5 inch mark. We can use the last part of this to make our lasso for the button. That will make our closure. So you are going to need a crimp, and this is a 2x2 crimp, and we're going to place that crimp over the 2 wires because we're going to make our lasso. Oops. And we just want to make sure we're not twisting the wires. That's very important. So we're going to, this is our bracelet, and here, let me take this other bracelet off because it's a little hard for me to show you what I mean about the bracelet. So here it is. This is what we're looking at for the bracelet. And I think typically that's kind of where a bracelet sits. That's the normal spot on the wrist. Up here, I think it'd be like more of a bangle, but then here, when you want something that's draping, that's kind of where it fits. Anywhere more, it's too big and it gets in the way. So you really want, I think, the bracelet to sit right about there. So as we're making this, I also am going to come back and add some little flowers. I think would be so beautiful. Maybe alternating on each side of the bracelet. All right, well, let's go ahead and make, so I'll mix them up again. I love doing that. It's so satisfying, isn't it? So we want our lasso to be the length of the button. So it's going to be, let's say, so you can fit in it. The button has to be able to fit in it. You don't want it too small, you don't want it too big, but you want to be able to feed that button through the lasso so that it sits. So let's try adding, if this was 6, I'm wondering if 10 would do it. And I'm trying to make sure that I'm not twisting my wires. All right, let's add 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, it's random. There's no rhyme or reason as to how I put those in like that. I just simply like the mixed up colors. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Oh, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. All right, so let's see if we can pass our button through. So I'm just holding my finger snug, and it's not quite. So let's add 3 more seed beads to each side. 1, 2, 3. So you're going to end up having now 13 on each side. 1, 2, 3. All right, so now I have this length. Now let's see if it'll fit through. And that looks like it's perfect. All right, so now we know that our button will go through our opening there. Now we're going to make a lasso. So you're going to feed this side, each side into the opposite side, down the seed beads. And this is the real reason why I chose the fine wire, because you're feeding the wire in a couple of different at the end for the lasso. And then it's going to end up going through the crimp tube. go through for me. Maybe that one's just a tad too small. Okay. Okay, it's going. And we're just feeding the beads, the seed beads, through the opposite side of the wire. Okay, I got one side, and I believe these little white ones are a little snug, I think. There it goes. All right, and don't worry about the spacing just yet, because we got to feed the other side through. So we did this side over here. Now I'm going to do this side on the opposite side. If I can get my fingers out of the way to show you. We're making a little lasso for our button. All right. Okay, there goes some. I'm gonna have to come down this side so I can see. There we go. That might be better for you. Let me pull a little bit longer. I'll pull these seed beads down. Don't worry about the length. We'll work that out. Right now you just want to get the seed beads over the other side of the wire. It'll be fine, I promise. Okay. So now we've gotten both sides into the wire, and I'm trying very hard to not kink the wire as well, because that will show in the finished lasso part of the bracelet. So I'm just trying to gently move them together so that we have all the little bumps or bubbles out of the wire. Okay. Okay. And so before we move those seed beads down, I want to take each end and feed it through my crimp tube so that it's down below, like so. And we're going to do the same thing here and feed it down. Below. All right. Did it go through? It did? Okay. I'm trying not to shake the table when I pull on these. Oops. Okay, there we go. Slowly pulling each side down after you've come through the crimp bead. See how I'm doing it? Just gently pulling it. And we've made our lasso. And then you just want to make sure your beads are down, but not extremely tight, because you need your bracelet to move a little bit, right? But you don't want so much slack that it shows in the bracelet. All right. think that's it. All right, it moves and I can fit it over my button like so. Okay. So the next step here, you have your ends fed through the wire crimp, and you want to make sure again that it's, you know, it should be a smooth bend. It should be so tight that you can't bend it. And I've had that happen, and I've had to restring things because it should bend easily. And you're gonna see little tiny openings, and that's okay with the wire. That's what allows the wire to bend evenly and smoothly when you go to put it on. And you'll notice you'll have an easier time getting it on over the wrist. Okay. And then we can check our length. Oops. And we're at 7.5 inches. All right. So I'm going to make sure everything's good with my bracelet. And then I'm going to take my magical crimpers they're ball crimpers, and we're going to fit that crimp in that little space there. And so just making sure none of my wires are twisted again. And I have a little bit of space here. So I can what I just did is I put my crimp bead in the little ball area of the plier. And before I actually crimp, I make sure there's no slack and that it is, my loop doesn't have any space in it. So then I have it in there and I'm going to flatten it. And this makes a little pillow, if you can see that. And then what you want to do is turn it and push down again, turn, push down again, turn, push down again, and keep turning and pushing down, crimping down. And what that creates is a little ball crimp with all those wires in it. And there's our ball. And that doesn't go anywhere. You can even give it a little tug and it's fine. All right, and then I take my cutters and I clip away the excess wire right next to the crimp. And I tend to keep my scraps because sometimes you need them for other projects. So I keep mine. All right, and then there's our bracelet. So cute. With a lasso on it. And it will slide smoothly each time. All right, and then my last thing that I want to add are these cute little bellflowers. They are so adorable. Oh my gosh. And I think I'm going to add these little green balls inside, maybe. Do we crimp them? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. Maybe I'll do the larger pink ones in the middle, off of each side. And then since I have blue on that side, I'll do yellow here, and blue here. And I'll leave these spaces because we're going to need to keep that clear of anything for, you know, so you can put your button in your loop. Let's see, or can I just do a little bellflower? Let's see. You know what? I think we'll do seed beads. Let me get my, let's see, I have 6 little bellflowers I'm going to be adding. Let's see, I'll do this one under here. Will that stay? It will. It will stay, and we might could add a few. Let's see. Pink, blue, and purple. Look at that underneath. So cute. Pink, blue, purple, white. Let's see, that's 4, 5, 6. So I don't want it to get caught on anything. I think that might be a little too long. So maybe we'll just do 3 under each bell cap to be like a little cute center, and then I'll do a white one on top. And then so to do this, you're going to place your needle nose pliers down towards the seed bead. You're going to press down, and then so we need to get it in between that, so you're going to need a little bit larger loop. So I'm going to do about that size. Come down, whoops, rotate up and then around, and then you're going to give that little loop an opening right there so that you can feed it through. Hopefully I can get it through. This will be, and you're just going to push gently, and it will eventually work its way through, I promise. There we go. There we go. You just got to be gentle, and then just add it through. And then I'm going to grab it here, and we'll do a nice little wire wrap to snug it up. See if I can get it around. Oops, slipped. There we go. And you gotta be careful because you can pop those little seed beads. So, is it not gonna be nice and let me hold it? So, let's see here. Maybe we do it this way. There it goes. And then I'm gonna come around. It's a little awkward, isn't it? And then I'm just gonna fold it down and around. There we go. And then I'm gonna clip it. And throw away my wire, hold on to it so it doesn't fly off and hit you. And then I'm gently tucking that little wire end piece in without grabbing the seed bead under it, because again you can pop it. And then I'm just gonna, I always straighten my loops. There we go. And it's got a little bit of a swing to it. Okay, all right, so there's one. Making sure my wires are straight. Okay. And then, so we use 3 seed beads under, so 3 more seed beads. I'll do white, pink, and purple underneath this one. And then I'll do pink on top of the blue. And we're going to open our loop a little bit. And then I want to put it on the opposite side of my bracelet here. So it's going to go here in between this. Right? Yes. So I'm just gently working it into, oops, my little pink seed bead came off. I'm just working the loop in, and then I'm going to grab it again so that I can make a wire wrap. And I think the best way to do this is from the next to the seed beads below. Unfortunately, it's a little awkward. I'm trying to make sure I can hold on to it so that you can see too. Okay, I grabbed it without popping the seed beads, because when you grab onto the wire, you can accidentally hit it and pop them. There we go. And then remember, you're holding on to your wire, and we are straightening out. We're tucking that little piece in without grabbing the seed bead, and then always straighten your loops. There we go. Because sometimes when you're making stuff, they do get bent, and there's little bell flowers on there. How cool is that? Okay, so I'm going to finish this and I'll be right back. Okay, everybody, so I have gone ahead and I added the remaining 3 dangles. I showed you how to do the first 3, and so all I had to do was to add the other 3, and now it's done, and we have this sweet little dangle bellflower bracelet with a dragonfly clasp, and it's just so adorable. Look at that, so pretty, so ready for spring. I so enjoyed being with you today. I would love to answer any questions that you might have. Just let me know. Type the text on this video. And always, I appreciate a like if you enjoyed this tutorial. And just let me know. Again, I hope you're having a wonderful spring. Best wishes for a happy week. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.